All right, here we are again. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here today with the amazing Em. Hey, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Really good. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for taking time out. And let's dive into it straight away. So just before we start, a few things. You know how it is to be in a coaching session. You're a coach yourself, right? So let's hide nothing, hold nothing back, and play full out. And I know that's also the way you like to play.
Yes. Inshallah. Yes. Definitely. 100%.
All right. So what would make this conversation extraordinary for you?
For me to be true to myself for this session, be present, and just, like you said, go all out and just go with, yeah.
Okay. And is there something specific that's happening right now, in your business or in your life? Is there something going on right now that you want to bring up, something that would serve you, or is there something specific that you want to create?
Okay. Can I be honest? Oh, well, I said I'm going to go all out 100%.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to bring sessions like, I know social media. I want to talk about the social media and how I feel about it and how it helps my business and also affects me as well in a way. I know everybody wants to earn like 10K, and it's like on social media everywhere people are just advertising. Oh, no, if you're a coach, do you want to earn 10K and email list and that. That's something like, when I was going through it, I felt a bit like kind of overwhelmed, as in like, because obviously as a new coach when I started, and you felt like, oh wow, I want to earn 10K, and I kept on like kind of joining all these groups and signing up for these emails. Then I realized, actually, no, I don't want to go with the whole thing, because it was affecting me kind of like mentally, to kind of thinking, oh, if I sign up for this, then I'm going to earn the 10K. But it wasn't. Then I realized it's not the 10K I want to earn. It's just a kind of like, what transformation am I bringing as a coach? What transformation am I bringing for my own client? And then just kind of like slow down. And I took a step back and kind of realized like my journey it's okay. I'm like, can be a bit slow, but I should kind of slow down, not just go after the 10K, and be honest with myself. Yeah, that just came up. I mean, what do you think as a coach yourself? Like, of course, you're an experienced coach now, and when you see the 10K mark, everybody's advertising. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, well, I'm happy to share my view on that. So, well, I think number one, most of the people that are marketing to coaches, and they talk about, 6 figures or even 7 figures, they're not coaches themselves. They're, marketers, or people that talk about, well, you need this, you need branding, you need this funnel. A lot of them, they're marketers, and some of them can be good, right? But the way I see it is that, personally, I've gone there. I've invested in a course, hoping that it will make me, take me to my first 6 figures, and it was quite an investment, and it didn't get me there, right? I learned a lot from it. I'm grateful I still took that decision. But what's been for me the most impactful is hiring coaches, not hiring marketers, right? So people that have achieved what I want to achieve, but they're 5, 10 steps ahead of me, right?
So, thank you. So, at what point do you think the new coaches should, hire a marketer, say, to go out on social media and hire someone? What would you advise the new coach?
My advice would be to not hire a marketer.
At all, or
Yeah, not
okay.
to not do it. Yeah, because I don't think you need it. Yeah, look, I don't think like we need to, I think there is a place for marketing. I think learning about it, it helps us grow our business, because you can be a great coach, but if you don't know how to connect with people and, bring, grow your network of potential clients, right? You're limited to your inner circle, your network. And for some people, that's a great way to start, right? I've worked with coaches who, earn really well, have made over six figures without doing much marketing, by just really tapping into their current network, right? So social media, I don't see it as a requirement to become a successful coach, but it can be used in the right way. It can serve us. So, but let me slow down here, right? You mentioned social media. You mentioned, you see people advertise 10K, and so what is behind that question? Like, if we slow down a bit further, what is, yeah.
Um, what's behind? I think it's just that because recently I've noticed it a lot, and I'm just thinking like,
Mm-hmm.
um, um, I felt a bit behind. I feel like behind. That's how I felt. Then obviously I took a step back and like thinking, no, that's just like that's um, I shouldn't follow the trend, as in like the 10K. I think it just became a trend rather than just the earning. And then um, there's no real reason behind it, but I just felt like asking that question.
Well, okay, so let's. Here's the thing, right? Most people, they look at that, and it's an aspiration to a lot of people. Like, okay, well, I wanna, and I'll be honest. When I started, I thought it'd be really cool to be that six-figure coach, or to make 10K a month, right? And our business is, we're projected to do over 500,000 this year, and the thing is, what I realized, it is all blown up, right? It's something that looks like the promised land, but once you get there, it's not that special, right? So I think what's important here is to just really slow down and think about, well, what is my goal? Because it is not something that, it's not that once you're at 10K a month that you're very successful as a coach. That's one milestone. And that, by the way, like, I don't want to take that away from, if someone is earning 10K a month, it can be great. That can, because we can grow our business with different intentions, right? With different goals. Someone that earns 10,000 a month, they can have a very good life if for example, if their expenses are 2-3,000, right? Now, what's important here is to bring it back to you. You mentioned you feel behind sometimes because you look at everyone's talking about the 10K.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do what the other people are doing. Like for an example, like marketing. Get Yeah. So I feel like doing all that. Then I feel like if I'm not doing that, then I'm not ahead of the game. But then I shouldn't be
Yeah,
thinking like that.
yeah. And that happens. That's the result of being on social media. right? But here's the thing: are you open to look at this in a different way?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, right? Most coaches play it that way. They're looking at, well, what can I learn? What can I learn that gives me a hack, that gives me a shortcut? How can I grow faster?
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eh, me too, right? But here's the thing: we want to do the opposite. We want to move away of what most people are doing, and focus on becoming a really good coach. Because if when you focus on being more impactful, right? If you focus on serving more powerfully, right, your business will grow faster.
So I
Because
want.
the results you get in your coaching,
Yeah.
the results becomes better and better.
Okay. That's good. So actually, I feel like I want to be that coach that obviously makes an impact rather than running after the 10K.
Mm-hmm.
That's I want to become the coach who's making the most impact on people. I need probably advice on that. Like, what would you advise? Because I feel like if I'm not on social media, then I don't exist as a coach. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm not on social media, I don't exist as a coach.
As in, what I mean is that I feel like I'm not doing any work, even though I'm doing the work behind the scene.
Yeah.
But if I'm not there, that's how I feel. So 1 or 2 days, I feel like you've forgotten about me.
Yeah. You're not the only one. I used to feel like that a lot, and I still sometimes feel like that, right? But it's
Okay.
not, for me personally. I don't see that as the truth. And
Okay.
this is how people look at when it comes to marketing, right? Oh, if you don't post every single day, people will forget about you. I think it's BS,
Okay.
right? Yes, you look at big brands like Coca-Cola, BT, like they will spend millions on advertising, but we don't need to play that game, right? Look at successful coaches. Look at if you look at Rich Litvin, you don't see him online every day. He's been writing one article a week for years. You look at Steve Chandler, you don't see him online every day. You look at Michael Neal. And by the way, with some of these coaches, when you do see them online regularly, it's not even, most of the time, it's not them. It's their team posting it, right? But even then, they're not there every day.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and here's the thing, right? And actually, if we slow down further, how is that impacting you? That thought of, if I'm not on social media, I don't exist as a coach.
Um, to be honest, yeah. Could you ask the question again, please?
How is this thought, this idea impacting your life and your business?
I mean, right now it's not impacting much.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me the question, I mean, a few months back, I feel like just running after, like trying to use the social media, be active there, and trying to connect with people. Then when I realized, like when I slowed down and took a step back, rather than going after the 10K mark and like follow the market and the trend, I connected with like I asked myself the question, like, what is it that I really want? And then how can I connect to more people? How can I make a more impact? That's the question I've asked myself. And I realized there was a kind of mindset shift there. Then I was able to, because I wasn't thinking so much about money, which I think everybody probably experiences that. And I got caught up on it as well. And start serving, as you've coached me for many, I know for like a few years, and I've been here and they used to serve, but then it didn't, you know, I didn't feel it, even though I was hearing it, and then I didn't take in. I was in a bubble thinking like, or those shortcuts I was looking for to become the coach. Because I was doing that, I wasn't able to connect with people. So recently, I've kind of I've taken a step back. I've slowed down and start connecting with people, trying to understand them. And then that conversation became really, really easy. And I'm able to coach, like book more coaching calls now, rather than like, like I had this thing like, how can I connect with people? I know, coaches talk about connect. But I wasn't able to, because I wasn't connected with my true self, that what I really wanted. That was the most, I think that's what I've realized. So when I kind of like dug digger and I knew what I had to do, like I've taken your advice, slow down, make an impact. It kind of became, now it's easy for me to speak to people. I know you connect with people just Facebook, but then like connect as in like build a relationship. So if there is anything, how can I help them? So I'm even able to help them even on the messages. I don't have to take call. When they speak to me, they have their aha moments when they they say to me. So that's what I was looking for. It wasn't happening for some reason, but right now it's happening to me, and I'm actually really grateful.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge you for being open about this and being honest, right? So you saw how it was impacting you, and you've created a shift there. And you mentioned a few things that I want to bring up again. Look, you mentioned I was looking for a shortcut, and this is what we often do, right? But what we learn is that while we try to go to the shortcut, we actually take a long journey. We make our journey, we make it even longer.
I have to admit, my journey's been long. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And that's okay, right? Because it's not about how fast we go, right? It's about, you know, you've made some really good observations here, and it's very clear that, you've taken time out to reflect on this, and you've made some changes already around this, right? But here's one thing I can tell you: a lot of coaches that are doing really well, you won't see them all the time on social media. Do you know why? They're spending their time coaching.
True.
They spend their time building relationships, and you mentioned this. It's about relationships. It is not about how often you post on social media, right? Because if you're building relationships and you're bringing people into conversations and serving them powerfully, that's that's when that's when we can enroll them. We can enroll people through giving them a powerful experience of how it is to work with us by coaching them. You see, often, social media can be used in a great way, right? But often people keep it at a conceptual level. Oh, here's what I could do if you would work with me, right? We want to just get into conversations with people. And you've experienced that now, and you can see the difference, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I've seen a huge difference, especially like this month. It's been really great.
Mm.
It's been one of the best months. Yeah. So yeah.
So just to, you know, it is, from this conversation, I can see that that's not, that's something you've kind of worked with. But it's interesting you bring it up. So does that thought still sometimes come up? If I'm not on social media, I don't exist as a coach.
Sorry.
Does that thought still sometimes come up for you?
No. I mean, he did. Like I said, like, oh, it's like I don't exist. But
Mm-hmm.
then when I realized, I mean, you from my experience that I would like to just share, like when I realized I was more active on social media, I was active, but I wasn't making any conversations. I wasn't building any relationships.
Yeah.
Um, I was more busy than being productive.
Yeah.
And I was running for like shortcuts. And that did not
Mm-hmm.
serve me for since I've started. It did not serve me at all. So what I've done is taking a step back,
Yeah.
reflected on how I can serve more people, find
Mm-hmm.
a way, because it wasn't helping me being active. And even though people would message me and say my posts were helping them, but I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what would be a great way to reframe this? If you could change that belief around, what would be a turnaround?
The turnaround would be, well, I don't have to be on social media all the time to show my to show myself like, oh, I exist as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, um, build more relationships and make an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we make it even, if we make it a bit more, if we simplify it a bit more, make it shorter. And so number one, you don't need to be on social media to exist as a coach, right? But what would be a way to make it even more shorter and to make it more powerful?
No.
Well, what about, and I'm not sure if this is gonna land with you, but what about, I don't need to be on social media to be a successful coach?
Yeah. I think I need to change that kind of like, definitely I need to change that, like, I don't have to be there all the time to become a better coach, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to stop looking for shortcuts. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. And again, thank you for sharing, because I think this is something that a lot of people will be able to relate to this. Like a lot of people, if you told me this 3, 4 years ago, it would make a big difference. So this seems, it maybe on the surface level it feels like something really simple, like, oh well, that's a strange idea. But actually, I know a lot of coaches will have this idea or this belief there that I have to be on social media every day, and it's I think it's really unhealthy, and it creates a lot of pressure, right? You know, it creates this pressure. Like I used to have sometimes these days that I had three great coaching sessions, and then at the end I felt like bad for not being on social media, right? And here's a twist to that. There's a great book called Show Your Work, right? It's a small book. Have you read that book?
I haven't. Who is it by?
I think by a guy called, I forgot his name. I think it's Austin Kleon,
Okay, I'll have a
right?
look.
But show your work. Small book, really powerful. The idea of the book is for us to use, and not just use social media, but we can use social media to document our journey. We can share on Instagram, on Facebook, and LinkedIn what we are doing. So, you know, at the end of a coach, at the end of a day of coaching, we could share some insights that we had, right? So you could go to social media and say, "Hey, I just had a session. I just got off a coaching session, and this is what I learned, or this is an insight that came up for me, and I want to share that." You know, I used to think this way about social media, and now I've shifted that, and this is how I see my business, and that would actually, that would actually create, it would serve people, and it would actually help you build more relationships because people can then see the work that you're doing behind the scenes.
True. I think that makes more sense, to be honest, now that I'm reflecting, because I mean, last week I had, excuse me, even this was like coaching sessions every single day, and I wasn't active much on social media. And so that's, I think that's all that kind of like the reason I'm saying now
Yeah,
I know where it came from. And then now that you've mentioned it, oh, sharing insights and that. So that, I think that's something that definitely is very beneficial for me. I should do that from the coaching sessions, and it really, really, really helped. Yeah.
yeah, and it will help others. And you read a lot, you do a lot of personal development, and you also there's other stuff that you do in your life, things that you enjoy. And it's not about creating it like we don't need to have our life be like Big Brother, where there's always, whenever we're eating something, we make a selfie and we make a picture. But we can show people the work that we do. So when
True.
you're reading a book, you could take a picture of a page that was really impactful for you and write something about it. Bless you.
Yep.
Right? So when you go to an event, you could write about it. When you're learning something, you could write about it. After your morning meditation session or yoga session, you could write about it. So there's a lot of times in our day where we can share about the work we do. But again, it's not something you should be doing, and there's no pressure to do it. And we can come from a place of service. And that's, I think, when we really slow down to that, is remembering that it's about building relationships. It's not about being visible or being on top of people's minds, because that doesn't grow your business.
That thing, I like what you said now. The reason I feel like I use, like, active on social media, and I feel like that, like, I thought, like, by posting, I mean, contents, like, people love it, of course, but then I thought people would, like, come to me. I would just get people, like, come and message me, even though they message me, but not for the right reasons, I guess.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
mhm.
It's about the quality of work that we create, not just about the quantity. And again, if someone's listening to this or watching this, if you enjoy social media, then do it, then use it, but use it from a place of service. And there's another distinction I want to close with is we can do things as a means to an end or as an end in itself, right? We can create a video. So, this conversation, I want to share this, you know, this is going to be on YouTube or on podcast, wherever people are watching it or listening to. It's there as a means of service, not, to get something from someone, right? And I know that this conversation will impact a lot of people. right?
I
A
hope
lot,
so.
yeah, a lot of new coaches, especially, but not just new coaches. I think even experienced coaches fall into this trap of social media, right? You know,
Yeah, I think
so
it's sorry.
mhm, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's just the one thing. It's just the intention behind it. Like, why are we posting? And
yeah,
um, definitely, I think the intention needs to be clear.
yeah, exactly. And for those of you that think like, well, you use social media. Yes, I do use it, but again, it's like Em said, it's about how we do it, right?
Yeah.
If we do it to create service and we do it from a place of love and care, we can create a business like that. Look, the way I like to play is to have, we have three different programs at different levels, but I like to work with a small group of people at high fee. And this podcast and a lot of the content is there for free, so people can benefit from that, right? So we can create to help more people and to benefit more people. And again, that can come from a place of service rather than from a place to like, oh, I hope someone will message me and sign up with me. There's a very clear distinction there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
So that's why I mentioned about intention,
yeah.
and yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming towards the end of the conversation. First of all, thank you for bringing this up, and I think this is something that we don't talk a lot about, but I think it's such an important topic.
Well, thank you for
And
giving me the opportunity to bring it up and be honest. Yeah.
cool. So we close before we close, tell me like what's been one insight that you got from this conversation?
Um, slow down and be of service, and yeah,
Mm,
to make an impact.
yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And I would love to hear, from the listener or if you're watching this, share in the comments, what is your insight from this conversation? All right. Yeah, thank you, Mazada, and thank you
Thank
for
you. Thank
being
you for
here.
your time.